Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glenn's garage.
Yeah, the cave, the man cave.
He's even got motors just randomly sitting on the inside of his...
This engine belongs to a buddy of mine called Hannes. Hannes, please could you come, repair the engine, fit it to your motorcycle and take it home. Thank you.
Now Glenn, hang on, you're looking a little rugged here. You know what's been going on?
It's been busy, hey? So end of June, we opening up the Tri-Nations event again. It ran very successfully for about 20 years.
What's a Tri-Nation event?
Tri-Nations is a ride that we do from the Republic of Pongola. Have you ever heard of Pongola?
I've heard of Pongola.
It's in northern Natal. We ride from Pongola all the way to the beach in Ponta de Oro. So what I've been doing is, over the last sort of week or so, I've been out there wrecking. The rain hasn't helped much. Wow, it's been crazy, hey? So we've been climbing mountains and riding motorbikes and checking routes and just making sure it's all going to be perfect. So that's the end of June, and if you ride a dirt bike, quad, or a side-by-side adventures, you've really got to know your stuff to get out there, because it's beautiful, thick, sandy trails through the bush. It's amazing. But June's going to be busy.
June's going to be busy. So first of all, if people want to come along or find more about that,
check us out. Just check out the website, adventurecompany.co.za, and drop us a WhatsApp or a whatever, and I'll fill you in, but it's going to be great.
June is indeed going to be a very busy month, because on the 1st of June, we've got the blanket run. Now, you did a blanket run previously with Ride Fast and all that.
Yeah, we decided, Sean came to me, he says, you know what, Glenn, it's getting cold. There's people out there who are far less fortunate than what we are. And we put it all together. And we also included the SPCA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the entry fee was a blanket. The guys arrived at RAD at the time, handed in a blanket. We had a cup of coffee, did a briefing. We did it at night time.
Yeah.
And we ran the ring road all the way around Joburg. We ended up there's a really nice little roadhouse near RAD.
Yeah.
Had a cup of coffee, and then everybody went home from there.
So this is going to be similar. It's first, as I say, Sunday 1st of June. It's not going to be a nighttime run, and it's in the association with also Bike Shop Rivonia. Now, you might remember last week we said that Rad Moto KTM is moving in next to sort of in collaboration.
What are your
with
thoughts on
Bike Shop
that? I
Rivonia.
think it's a great move.
It's going to be good fun.
It's going to be nice.
No, they said it's a motorcycle mall, so they're
Correct.
trying to get more motorcycling in one place.
Absolutely. I mean, access is better, parking is better. It's
better.
going to look spectacular.
It's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, and they're nice people.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what happens is it's going to be 8 o'clock that morning, 1st of June. You arrive. All you need to do is bring a blanket.
Bring a blanket.
That's going to go through to the
For a dog or a person.
Or
a cat.
It's going to go through to the
Or a
Rotary
hamster.
Club. Or a hamster.
Yeah, hamster.
It's going to go to the Rotary Club of Hartbeespoort Brits. They're going to be taking all the blankets, distributing them to all the needy and that. So just bring
They do
a blanket.
amazing work, guys.
They do amazing work. Just bring a blanket. This ride's going to be good fun. We go from Rivonia, Cradle, Magaliesburg, Hekpoort, Satellite Road, then back down the R512 past Lion Park, and we end up at Maggie's Farm. You know, the home of the chicken pie, right near Lancia. So the ride is quite long. It's about 120 kilometers.
Yeah.
But some of the best roads in the whole Gauteng area. It is the single best ride in the whole Gauteng area. So it's a long ride, but you end up right near Lancia, so it's quite close to home. And then you have your chicken pie or whatever else you want. There's tons of stuff there, and then short ride home after that. So
and
that's
it's a good chat to catch up with mates, have a chin wag,
gonna be good.
and you'll be doing a lot of good at the same time.
Everybody on road legal or if you're not on a road legal motorcycle, that's up to you really.
Yeah.
But anybody's allowed any pace, anything. It's going to be a lot of good fun.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more going on in the world.
Talking about roads, what's happening in Spain? The rain in Spain, we've had this one before.
The rain in Spain
we've had that one
falls
before.
mainly on the, it's called the AP7.
Yeah, listen to this, guys.
It's a freeway somewhere in Catalonia, which I think is Barcelona, isn't it? I think
somewhere
so.
like it.
Yeah, Spain's a bit weird. Anyway, there's a freeway there called the AP7. Now, in Europe, they've got things called variable speed limits. And it's quite brilliant, because they've got these digital boards. When you're driving along, anyone who's been to Europe will know about them. And if, for example, it's raining in the middle of fog and rush hour, the speed limit goes down. If it's clear and sunny, the speed limit goes up.
And people obey. It's amazing. I've been there. Yeah. It is amazing. People do not step out of line. Except for when the South Africans
Except for the South Africans.
Yeah.
So on this freeway, what they've decided to do, they've done some, apparently AI actually worked this all out. So AI, well done.
Beware
done
of AI.
well, except for this AI. We like this AI.
Yeah.
It's determined that if it's sort of sunny and clear and not a lot of traffic, the speed limit can actually go up to 150 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, not bad.
I actually love it. So again, if you're on Friday late afternoon traffic and it's raining and there's fog, the speed limit will be 80 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
But on a Sunday afternoon when the freeway is completely empty and there's sunshine, 150.
But Don, let me ask you this question. Judging by our current crop of drivers, do you imagine that it would work successfully in South Africa? Maybe on the freeway between Joburg and the Karoo, elsewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, no, thank you.
No,
We can't even manage 120 at this rate.
I mean, I think about stuff like, as you said, those roads out in the middle of the Karoo where there's nothing there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Makes
Open
sense.
it up a bit. Open up a bit.
Come on, traffic department. We're going to start a petition.
Okay, more Kawasaki. They built a prototype hydrogen-powered H2.
Now, what's really interesting about this? There's a big drive towards electric, okay? They've made a hydrogen-powered motorcycle.
No, okay, hang on. The Americans and all of them, Americans and some of the... Okay, Americans are electric, Europeans are hybrid, Japanese are hydrogen.
Yes.
That's kind of the tendency now.
Correct.
So we know in America they've got Tesla and all that, big on electric.
Yep.
Mostly hybrids, and the Europeans do, but
Yep.
the Japanese are spending a lot of time on hydrogen power, and the great part about hydrogen power is that it goes through an engine. It will be an ordinary sort of engine, much the same as a petrol one. The only thing that comes out of the exhaust is water.
Water, that's it.
It's water.
And what I find interesting is the big dogs, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, they've all got together to develop this technology. And you know what happens when the Japanese get an idea. Generally, it's a success. But it's not without stumbling blocks. And you can talk the sheer volume that you need to carry.
So this bike did a lap during the Le Mans 24-hour, not during the race, but it did sort of a parade lap.
Yeah.
This H2. Now you'll see it's got two panniers down the side, and that's to hold hydrogen. Because the downside of hydrogen is that you need an awful lot of it to do the same mileage.
You need a lot.
I know there was a group who tried to convert a car to hydrogen from petrol, and they ended up, to get the same range as an ordinary petrol tank, they had to fill the boot with hydrogen tanks, and they had to take the back seats out and fill them with hydrogen. So that is the sort of problem there, is you need to carry a lot of hydrogen.
But I'm going to say this, the Japanese are exceptionally innovative.
Yes.
And it won't surprise me if they manage to overcome that pretty soon. Knowing them, they'll compress something into a little gas cylinder that big that you can tie onto your fork.
Maybe.
with a little brake tube going in, and poof, off you go.
Yeah, carry around hydrogen. You all saw what happened to the Zeppelin.
But isn't technology just, we live in an amazing time. It's amazing.
Moving on. Now, you might have noticed that we've made it through the first quarter of 2025. Congratulations. Well done, everybody.
Quarter of the way there. Christmas is around the corner.
Now, what happens is that every quarter, an association called AMID, Association of Motorcycle Importers and Distributors, puts out a whole lot of stats about motorcycle sales in South Africa.
She wants to go to bed.
While Glenn's got a dog jumping on him. Now, what happens is that, they don't give exact numbers, like how many motorcycles they sold exactly. What they do is they give comparisons. And interestingly, the first quarter of 2025 compared to the first quarter of 2024, we're up 30% in new motorcycle sales.
And
that's
that
magnificent.
It's probably the best growth we've seen in
a long time.
I can't tell you how long. The bike industry's been kind of flat.
It's a very, very good thing.
Yeah.
They did break it down a little bit. Commercial is up 40%, so your delivery bikes and all that.
And that's unsurprising, really. I mean, everywhere you look, you see Brad Binder's lot.
The checker 6060.
If he hasn't delivered to you...
Yeah, if you not have Brad Binder delivered to your house, what are you doing? Interesting though, commercials up 40%, scooters are down 7%.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting. Scooters are so nippy and easy to ride. Yeah. But I suspect that what's happening is maybe with the greater distances, the guys want a little bit more torque, a little bit more power. And I think the delivery guys are leaning towards the geared motorcycles. The geared
motorcycles are a bit faster. So makes
sense.
Yeah. There we go on. Okay, leisure is up 15%. Now that's a big one. Leisure is sort of the motorcycles you and I kind of
that's right. That's what you read about on the websites and the magazines. But there is a caveat. What we have noticed is most of it is sub 500cc.
So that's excellent news. I mean, it's sort of your 300s and whatever have you.
Correct.
We were saying there's a lot of new importers.
New entries to our market.
CF Moto, for example, is in there with a whole lot of sub 500 motorcycles. We've got Vogue, Cove, Hero, Big Boy. Tons of these sort of guys. They've got all sorts of motorcycles that do fall in the leisure category, sub 500.
Correct. And the Japanese manufacturers are making small ones. That little rally we did the other night, I mean, that was
brilliant.
It's excellent. And it's a great option. Don, we need entry-level motorcycles, as simple as that. And the bottom line is most people are finding bigger bikes a little bit less cost-effective than they'd like them to be.
Exactly.
They're not cheap. It's that simple. So go and buy yourself a small bike. They are fantastic. There's so many good ones out there. And you know what? You'll buy a big bike eventually.
Moving on, off-road, okay, it's down 1.5%, so it's sort of stayed the same.
Yeah.
Interesting, quads and side-by-sides are up 36%.
Correct, and it seems to me as if it's mostly in the commercial sector.
Well, here's the thing, we've been having all this rain, and, the bucky can't make it, and, the tractor can't make it, so you buy a quad or a side-by-side.
Absolutely.
To go through all the mud to where on your farm.
It's nippy and easy and fun to ride, and it makes perfectly good sense.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Electric motorcycles, and I'm laughing a little bit because I'll tell you why now. They're up 177%. But here's the thing, it's 2- and 3-wheeled electric motorcycles. Right. You do get a lot of those sort of, again, agricultural 3-wheeled electric kind of, they're basically a loading bin with a set of handlebars on the front.
And I am seeing them all over the place. So I imagine that growth would also, once again, be in the commercial market. But Donovan, I'm also seeing a lot of electric dirt bikes doing the rounds. And the reason for that is because they're silent. So if you live in Joburg or Cape Town or whatever, and you live in a Lani complex, you can ride those, and nobody will ever complain.
You can go play in the park right down the road from your house.
As far as I understand, many of them can be ridden on cycling trails as well, where you cannot take your dirt bike because the Karens will say, they're making a noise.
I don't think they even notice.
Yeah, exactly.
I rode an electric dirt bike down a cycling route once.
That's right.
And people just wave at you.
Absolutely. It looks like a bicycle anyway, so it's cool. Yeah.
So that's good news in terms of the motorcycle sales front. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all on you. We applaud you.
Well done.
Keep it up.
Keep it up, please. You need a motorcycle in your life.
Now, recently we've been speaking about the Roof of Africa quite a bit. That's the biggest hard enduro in the country.
Well, it's the oldest for sure.
Oldest and well, the most
best
famous,
known.
the most
without a doubt.
known.
And we do love the Roof of Africa.
We do love the
100%. It's the one roof I never miss.
Last year there were a few problems. They had a new crowd took it over, and there were problems. I mean, guys got lost and the routes got mixed up, and there was a lot of uproar. There were courts of appeal and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And let's just say a lot of people were really, really not happy.
Yeah.
What is interesting is that company that ran the Roof of Africa, they're called Pro Touch Global, have just been given the rights to run the World Enduro Championship.
Yeah. Isn't that cool though? We've got a South African company at the head of arguably, most people would say, one of the coolest competitions series on the globe, which is lekker.
It's big. I mean, you've got
Global,
the full list, but
did
it's
you
like
get it?
it includes Romaniac, Sea to Sky,
Yes.
all these all over the world. It is a world endurance. It is a world championship. And there's a South African company running it. Now, I'm going to say a bit of good news because they're going to be running all these international races throughout the year. By the time it gets to the Roof of Africa, which is on the 22nd of November this year, they should be getting pretty good at it.
You had to go there. All right, so guys, without his jibber jabber, all right, let's go for this. The good news is we do have a date for Roof of Africa, and it's just been released as 20 to the 22nd of November, which is pretty cool. But the Hard Enduro Championship looks like this. Valley's Hard Enduro in the UK, 10th to 11th of May. USA Silver Kings, 12th to the 14th of June. Red Bull Romaniacs, 22nd to the 26th of July. Abstone in Italy, 6th to the 7th of September. Hispania in Spain, 21st of September. Sea to Sky, which a lot of South Africans do, it's a favorite here, 9th to 11th of October. Gatson Rodeo, 24th to the 25th. And then the Roof of Africa, 20th and the 26th to the 22nd. So we will see you at the Roof of Africa. That'll be great.
Just on those, we are making a bit of fun here. There were mistakes made at the Roof of Africa.
There's one race missing.
What's that?
Uzbek.
Uzbek.
There's not mentioned here. Let's find out what's happening. We'll tell you more about that, Joe. Uzbek's not on the list.
We just realised that, literally right now.
Absolutely.
But in all fairness, I make some jokes. Roof of Africa, there were some mistakes, but as Glenn said, it's really cool. A South African group is running the World Enduro Championships. That's very cool. And whatever mistakes they made in Roof, I really hope they've learned from it and they
you
can
have our
improve on
support,
it.
guys. We want the Roof to be
we
big.
wish you all best of luck, and we really hope it goes off well. And it would be really cool if we have a great year of World Enduro racing run by a South African company.
But they do have some stiff competition, and I'm going to tell you that, MP Enduro has pulled 1,000 riders this year, so if you're racing MP, good luck. It's going to be really, really good. We're going to try our best to get down there. And then the other thing is something interesting. Wade Young. Wade Young.
Multiple Roof of Africa winner.
And multiple. He's one of the best riders in the world. 6th to the 8th of November is also hosting, which is only a couple of weeks before the Roof of Africa.
Wow.
He's also hosting something down in the Drakensberg. So it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be lots of interestingness. And with lots of good news like smaller leisure bikes doing well, stay tuned for after the break where we're going to have a look at exactly one of those. So, you might have met Ferrari, the fearless Hero XPulse 200, closing in on 3 years ago, when Hero was still a hatchling brand in South Africa. They asked me to take him and see if I can break him. We've ridden everywhere, places people didn't think a little Indian motorcycle could go. And yet, today, Ferrari is as strong as when he first arrived. That's all good and well, if you want to explore the unknown off the tarred way. But what if your motorcycle delights do not include the dirty stuff? Is there a way to enjoy a Hero that's more road focused? Actually, yes, with this. It's also an XPulse 200, but this is the XPulse 200T.
And the T stands for tarmac? Touring, that's a touring, because in India this would be a touring bike. South Africa, more like a C, commuter. Although go do some touring on it, we've seen people do far crazier things on far crazier motorcycles.
In lieu of the lack of off-road requirements, the large dirt spoked wheels have been removed and instead we have 17-inch mag wheels. The suspension is a little more down to earth and the exhaust is more low slung. And of course, it has more place for styling. The Italians put in charge of the styling, therefore had more room to spruce it up a bit. Personally, I like it.
I feel funky. Now I realise I'm probably not the best arbiter of funkiness, and there are probably perhaps people more experienced and whose opinions on such funkiness you might trust more, but right now I feel funky, and you know, it's kind of important the way I feel. I'm the one riding the bike after all. I hope you feel funky too.
Then we have the motor, a 199.6cc single with 2 valves that's oil cooled. Now while the finances and manufacturing take place in India, the research and development happens at Hero's facility in Germany, the same place where they build Ross Branch's Dakar bike. And you can tell.
So basically this is the same motor that I have in Ferrari. So you get one earlier model which was just air cooled. This is the oil cooled one. It's got a little radiator down the side over here. Then you get the 4 valves. This is a 2 valve oil cooled. And it, like Ferrari, it is so smooth. You just can't believe how smooth they made a single cylinder motor. I mean, here I am, I'm at 3rd gear, 2,500 RPM. And now, not long ago, the whole bike would be shuddering. A lot of single cylinders would still be shuddering. Modern day single cylinders would still be shuddering and shaking at this sort of speed, this sort of RPM, but not this one. Smooth as ice. I can feel nothing through the bars.
This 2 valve oil cooled smoothness puts out 18 horsepower and 16 Nm of torque, which is not bad.
I wouldn't call this motorcycle fast. I mean, it isn't. You know, you get faster. Similar to Ferrari, it hits the governor in top gear, 5th gear, 5-speed gearbox, at 124 kilometers per hour. With a little bit more of a downer, you can get 126. A lightweight person will cruise between 110 and 120 on this bike quite easily. But again, it's got enough oomph to get away from the lights ahead of all the traffic. It's got enough. Everything really. It's smooth, it's easy, simple to ride, so basic, torque for days. It's brilliant in that way. Also, the standard exhaust is very quiet, which is a problem if you want a loud exhaust, but where we are now, at this sort of very relaxed location with relaxed people in their relaxed houses, I don't know, I'd feel a little odd if I had a really loud banging exhaust. Right now I'm kind of glad I've got this one. I regret it on other occasions, but right now I'm glad I've got this one.
The frame is tubular diamond steel, designed to be strong enough to handle the rough Indian roads. And the suspension, well, that's pretty much the same.
Now this road is bumpy. I mean, I don't know if you can see from some of the shots. It is a bumpy road, and yet I'm fine. I can hardly feel it. The suspension on Ferrari, I know, works very, very well. Even when you're going over big Humpty Dupes and off-road, you can stay seated, you can hardly feel it. And they've kind of transferred a lot of that onto this bike, which is excellent. Especially in South African roads, you go to bumpity, bumpity, bumpity.
The tank capacity is 13 litres, which is not a big amount. But then again, this is a frugal motorcycle. Depending on whether you ride like me, or like a sensible person, you'll get between 300 and 400 kilometers out of those 13 liters. It's also a small motorcycle weighing just 154 kilograms with all fuel and oil on board.
So this bike feels like nothing. Honestly, it is so small, it's tiny. It feels like I'm on a little pocket rocket. I mean, weirdly, I'm not cramped. So my legs could maybe, tall people might want a bit more room, like I got short legs. But otherwise, I mean, the seating position's good. The seat is the same as on the other XPulses. It's more than comfortable enough. It's more comfortable than most seats you get these days. And the suspension works. Not to mention, I mean, when you turn into corners, it's a whole lot of absolute nothingness. Just tip it in and it goes. Like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. It's good fun. It's really good fun. It just feels like this is a motorcycle that will never overcome you, if you know what I mean. You're always in charge. You're always the one on top. It's a huge amount of confidence with this thing.
It's also not a complicated motorcycle, with not much in the way of sophistication, at least not outwardly. It does have fuel injection that's Euro 5 compliant, and at 45,999 Rand, it's good for what it has.
It's got no electronic gadgets apart from navigation, which is kind of interesting. It's also got ABS on the front, which works very well. I know from the off-road bike, works extremely well, so I'm very happy it's got that. Apart from that, I mean, it's got this dash, which is quite nice, and that's pretty much it.
Also, South Africans have a tendency to distrust anything new. That's fair. We've had a lot of fly-by-night brands swooping through our country, and a bike called Hero that costs just 45,999 Rand might set off alarm bells. Except that Hero isn't like that.
It just feels like a quality motorcycle, because it is. I mean, I've done enough with Ferrari to know that these bikes do not break, they do not fall apart. The Indian market will not accept motorcycles that fall apart. They just won't. They need to be well priced. They need to be very economical. They need to be easy to ride, and they mustn't fall apart. The guy, someone in India wants one of these. He wants to own it for 10 years minimum. And yeah, that's what Heroes had to do, and that's why they're so successful. That's why they sell more than anybody else. They're good at that.
So, after all that, is the T version of the XPulse a decent bike for South African streets? Well, as per any model, the answer is yes, but it depends on who you are and what you're looking for.
So, if you're a sports bike rider, and you want to zoom around and go ready, you might find this a little down in power. This is not a motorcycle for breaking speed records. I mean, in a commuting environment like what we're doing, it's not slow. Not that slow. And, in these sort of things, it's perfect. But it's just fun. It's just funky. It's for somebody who just wants something to get around on easily. Someone who doesn't want something that's going to overpower them. Someone who wants something comfortable and proud to own and good looking, and a bike that makes you feel good. A bike. It's a little get-around companion, a fun get-around companion. That's what this motorcycle is.